Hi friends! I'm Becky of thepinksamurai.com, and in today's Enamel Pins 101 video, we are going to be talking about the creative process. This is something that people have asked me before, how I choose my designs, kind of my own personal creative process, so I figured I would just talk about it here for you to see if maybe you do the same thing, maybe I do something different. I just love learning how people work, so I thought it'd be fun to talk about. So let's get into it. So we're gonna back up a little bit. When I first started making pins, I did my alien pin, and that one ended up taking off, and then that one led to a catacorn and a pizza cat, and then that one led to others, and I was kind of releasing sort of piecemeal as I was getting money, which worked at the time and was a good way for me to build momentum and a following on Instagram and stuff like that. But by the end of that year, I was completely burnt out because it was just this kind of constant catch up, you know, like I have to make something else, I've got to do it now. Like there was no planning involved. It was just, oh, I'm gonna make this and then see what happens. And that can work for some people. Some people can be super chill about it. I'm the kind of person that needs a lot of structure in my life. So that was not working for me. So before the year even ended in 2016, I printed out an entire year of 2017 and I mapped out exactly when I wanted to release stuff. And having that put in place really helped me build my shop and my inventory and kind of my following on Instagram. So in planning what I was going to do for 2017, I decided to go and plan around collections. I was going to release 3 to 5 pins in one go, 4 times a year. So I would have spring, summer, fall, and winter collections, kind of just sort of mimicking what the fashion world does, you know. And so I picked the dates that I wanted for that, and I think that's my first big tip is if you're not quite sure what you want to do or how to hone in on your designs, then just pick a collection or a theme. So you can think seasonally like I did. You can do it around holidays, which a lot of people do, which I love because I love themed holiday pins. And I definitely recommend, what worked for me was doing 3 to 5 that were a collection. And I think that was really fun because people could buy all of them if they wanted to. It wasn't totally out of reach. And it was just a manageable kind of thing for me to do, to not have a ton of different things I was working on all at once. Another thing I like to do is just take a notebook and just write down stuff that I like, just ridiculous themes, you know, like pizza party or kitten slumber party, or they're all parties. You know, just different, silly different themes that might be fun to do. And then whichever one makes me the most excited, then I'll just kind of go from there. And then if I'm really excited about something, but really nothing kind of comes of it, then, you know, sometimes you can have this really great idea, but like none of your sketches work out. Just move on to the next thing. It's fine. You might bring those sketches out later and come up with a completely different use for them. But yeah, just a big brain dump really helps when you're trying to pick a theme. So when I'm picking my designs, I think I just kind of go with what resonates with me at the time. So I'm thinking in terms of themes, like, duh, there's gonna be cats in it for me. That's kind of my thing. But you can also look at silly holidays to celebrate. You can just think about color palettes that you like and kind of let the colors sort of determine what you're gonna do. And I like keeping my collections in a certain color palette anyway, just because I think they look a little more cohesive that way. But yeah, and if I'm really excited about it, I know I want to make it. Like if I look at it and I'm like, dang, this is an awesome pin and I just want it for myself, then I know it's a good one. If I'm unsure about a design, then I go to a friend, and not just any friend, like someone that knows you and knows what you do and like gets what your audience is into too. So One of my friends that I bug all the time is Hillary from The Cutie Life. She loves cute stuff, and I know that if she's into it, then I think it'll be good. You know, so find yourself some friends, some other makers that really get it, and to bounce things off of. And if they're like, you know what, I don't know if that's a good idea, listen to them. Don't be offended. Like, they have your best interest in mind. So yeah, thinking collections, thinking themes, limit your color palette, and get excited about it or ask a friend. I think those are my biggest 4 tips in kind of choosing the design. And once you make a few, I think you'll really like start to get your style and the stuff you really like to do. You know, I wasn't even sure when we released the gnomes. I was like, sure, let's just try it. You know, you never know. And then people loved it. So sometimes it's also good to just go out on a limb with something and be like, I don't know if people are going to be into this, because sometimes they really are. And if they're not, then you can have some second sales and put freebie pins in orders. So there's always that as a worst case scenario. Okay, so a lot of people also ask how I work, so I thought I would just kind of break down my process. It starts with a sketchbook or my iPad. If it's in the sketchbook, then I usually just take a picture of it with my phone and email it to myself, and then I'll open it in Photoshop and kind of refine it from there. And then from that kind of refining phase, I'll take it into Illustrator and vector it. And then it's the same kind of thing if I'm using Procreate, except there's a lot more refining that goes along in Procreate. And then I'll put it directly from there into Illustrator. And then when I'm in Illustrator, I just work on my lines first, make sure I get all of those where I need them, because they're kind of important when you're working on pins. And then I go back in and fill in with color. It's not anything groundbreaking. I'm probably not as proficient at Illustrator as some people. I work with a lot of artists in my subscription service, and their Illustrator files are so pretty. And mine are a hot mess. It's fine. I understand it. My manufacturer gets it. We're good. So don't think that there's like a right or wrong way to do Illustrator, because as long as you get the end result, then you're good to go. All right, so that's just kind of me rambling about how I pick what pins to make and kind of how I make them in Illustrator. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Send me a comment down below if you have any questions. I did just kind of ramble a little bit in this one, but it's kind of hard to talk about your creative process, I guess. But yeah, I hope this helped. If you have any questions, again, let me know, and be sure to give me a subscribe if you're into more pin videos. Thanks. See you later.